Hello everyone, my name is Tanisha Felton and I will be completing the final presentation for my needs assessment. The purpose of the needs assessment is to identify what causes poverty among the elderly population. Data collection. The data collection was completed by conducting 2 interviews at 2 different social service agencies. The first interview was conducted with the program monitor for the Louisiana Department of Health in the Office of Aging and Adult Services. The interviewee has been in his current position for the past 6 years, but has been working for the state of Louisiana for over 30 years. He has a bachelor's in business administration, and his job is to help elders transition from nursing homes back into the community. The second interviewee is a supervisor with Directions of Louisiana, which is a support coordination agency for elders living in the community. She has been in her current position for the past year, but has worked with the agency for over 7 years. She has her bachelor's in social work. Key findings. The key findings that were identified during the interviews were affordable housing, social support, transportation, and health care. Housing. Affordability. After reviewing the data collected from the interview questions, it was clear that a lack of affordable housing is prominent within the community. Availability. One of the interviewees mentioned, and I quote, that there is a major lack in the availability of elderly housing within the community. They also mentioned that waiting lists are not always open. With this being one of the major issues and themes throughout both interviews conducted, it shows the lack of housing within the community. Safety. Another interview mentioned that there is not enough handicap housing for the elderly population. With more people living longer, and the need will only increase in the future. Social support. Social support was the second most mentioned issue that was voiced during the interviews. Interviewees did not identify just families for support, but the overall community. For example, counselors, paid caregivers, and day programs. Family members who are caregivers need more support in providing care for their elders. However, another interviewee mentioned that paid caregivers have a high turnover due to low pay, which means there is no steady help for the elder individuals. Day programs are limited to many elders due to lack of knowledge and the available resources. Transportation. Transportation is another issue identified during the interviews. This issue leads back to the social support elders lack. Getting the needed transportation to go to doctor's appointments or even grocery shopping is vital. One of the interviewees voiced that public transportation plays a big role and our cities need to start planning for more seniors. Healthcare. Both interviewees discussed issues with healthcare. Over the years, healthcare has significantly changed. Many elders have insurance, but concerns are voiced more towards insurance coverage. Some of their main necessities aren't covered by the insurance, and many have to pay out-of-pocket fees. It was also mentioned by one of the interviewees concerns regarding elders not understanding the process of their insurance and what they are eligible for. Recommendations: community education and involvement. Education provided to individuals in the community on identified issues that causes elderly poverty. Preventative care classes, CPR training to caregivers, blood pressure and blood glucose monitoring, and how to identify signs and symptoms of various diseases. Outreach programs, something that is specifically designed to help the elders in poverty. Fundraisers, community fundraisers linked to social service agencies to help raise money for the identified issues and also build community awareness. Elder education, providing the elders with education of different resources available to them, including informational packets with the name of the resources and phone numbers. Shared findings. The results of the needs assessment will be shared with the interviewed agencies, with the individual interviewers, via email or printed document, dependent upon the preferences of the interviewee. Reflection. Key factors that made my needs assessment successful was the completion of the 2 interviews. By conducting the interviews, I gained insight on the cause of poverty and specific resources elders are lacking in the community. There were no identified key factors that hindered the effectiveness of the needs assessment. The overall experience of the needs assessment project has been great. I have learned the process of conducting a community needs assessment along with gaining a better understanding of the needs of elders. I have learned a lot of local community resources that are able to help elders in poverty. Even though resources are limited, there are still really great organizations that can help the elderly population overcome or avoid poverty.